Alright, so it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but today we're going to be talking about what if the Protoss from StarCraft existed in Warhammer 40k. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and I wanted to do something special and talk about a fandom that I absolutely love. I really love this series. I rather enjoy this comic, not comic. I'm a huge fan of StarCraft. I just don't get to talk a lot about it. So, what better way than to talk about what would it be like if one of the most powerful civilizations, aside from the Zerg, showed up in Warhammer 40k, and what would that effect be if the Protoss, and could the Protoss survive in Warhammer 40k? So let's get started. Yeah, I really do think that they, like the Protoss Empire, the Protoss Conclave on a whole, these guys would wreck house. The technology, like, I think a lot of people, and some people have brought this up, is that, yeah, the big thing with this is that Warhammer 40k, for all the cool, crazy shit that we see, it's archaic. I think people forget that, like, the world of Warhammer 40k is like the medieval ages, the dark ages of technology. And yes, I know, it was like, but back then it was the dark age of technology. Yeah, but that's the point, is that they didn't they still don't understand it. Like, they still don't understand that that was like most of what was called the dark ages of technology was like the pinnacle of mankind before the Horus Heresy, or even when the Emperor ascended to power. So that in lies that the Imperium of Man really would not, like, the Terran, like, I would say that the Terrans and the Imperium of Man kind of have the same technology on the same level, and they can hold their own against the Protoss. The problem is that the difference between the Terrans and the Imperium is that, the Terrans, like the United Earth Directorate or the Confederacy, all those human factions, they all are, they're not run by a religion. They're not run by like a heretical, they're not like, it's an actual military, it's an actual like functioning military and governing force, whereas it's a religion that is full of dogmatic people who are, willing to shoot the guy next to them if he says, like, man, it really sucks today. I wonder if that's the Emperor's fault. Bang! But I do see that the Imperium, again, I think if you threw the Protoss into the world of Warhammer 40k, they're probably going to have the biggest tech on the planet. The only one that could really rival them, technologically speaking, would probably be the Eldar and the Tau. But the reason why I don't think they would be the Eldar or the Tau would be, able to match them is because the Tau are still evolving, technically speaking, and the Eldar are on their way out. They are screaming against the dying of the light, even like the Empire. So your basic Protoss units are nothing short of devastating. Like, could you just imagine like a Leman Russ tank firing on dragoons as they're like marching through? Dragoons are kind of like Protoss dreadnoughts when you think about it, and I would actually be really cool to see like a dreadnought fight a dragoon. Tell me that, like, if that's not fan art out already, I want that, like, to see a picture of a dreadnought and a dragoon throwing down. I would absolutely adore to see that. Also, your basic guardsman's not going to, like, he could probably get a few good shots off with the las-gun, but the thing is that the Protoss have something that a lot of the other races don't have, and that's body shielding. You could open fire on, with a bunch of guardsmen and a few commissars and, a few well-placed artillery shots and kill a lot of people. The problem is that there are some ships that have warp shields and whatnot, but the Protoss, shields are everything. Like, shields are quite literally everything with them. Like, they can that shield, while it will go down and break, it can eat a lot of bullets. I'm sure if you've played StarCraft, like how many Marines it takes to like fucking get that shield down before those Protoss come running in and start stabbing you. So I'm pretty sure a bunch of guardsmen are going to hear, "My life for ire." Or, another last word they're going to hear is, "In Toro Adun, there is no time to waste. We must join our brothers in battle." And then a 7-foot-tall zealot is just going to come jumping into the trenches, energy blades ready, and just start gutting people left and right. That's the other thing, is that, like the Tau, the Protoss are advanced enough as technology to have plasma-based weaponry and everything. And I know what you're thinking, but the Imperium has, the Imperium has that too. No, yes, but it's very archaic, and also 9 times out of 10, it might blow up in their hand. Like every time they shoot use a plasma-based weapon, there's always that chance of, what if, I didn't pray to it hard enough, boom, it blows up in their face. So, yeah. Now, seeing Zealots fight Space Marines would be pretty awesome, or other weapons. It's not just, Zealots and Dragoons you have to worry about. It's, I don't know, probes sneaking into your base, or a Dark Templar just coming into your base and just start killing, just like a ghost, and slaughtering all of your guardsmen and troops left and right. Or, coming to see like an Archon over the horizon and just start vaporizing your buddy with mind powers. Or worse, a Dark Archon mind controlling one of your people, and now he's mind controlling a Space Marine. And I know, that's a Space Marine could never be mind controlled or something like that. They've never really most Space Marines are mentally strong enough to withstand mind control, but Dark Templars are built different. Dark Templars are more than capable of mind controlling most units. Now, could they control a Space Marine and keep it? I don't know. Do I think they could probably get the drop on a Space Marine, mentally, and get him to kill several of his buddies before he breaks free of the hold, and then realize he's sitting in the guts of some of his comrades? I think that's a possibility, and we need to talk about, but we can't say for certain. But definitely the other thing that the Protoss are more than capable of doing is they're highly they expand pretty fast. Although I will say they do need those pylons. They do, how many times have you played the game and then you hear, you must construct additional pylons? So therein lies a crippling weakness that the Imperium or any of the factions could exploit. That they can just be like, yeah, we'll just shoot the pylons, and that will cripple their, flow of, their flow for, resources. The other thing that is important to note, that the Protoss, in space-wise, between the Corsairs and between, carriers, oh god, a carrier, I could just imagine a carrier taking on one of the Imperium ships. Jesus. The Protoss are, it's been said multiple times in lore, that the Protoss are nigh unmatched when it comes to ship-to-ship combat. So, if you threw them out there, there's 9 times out of 10 they might come out on top between shielding, and they're pretty well equipped. It's like the British Empire in a way. It's almost like the British Empire's navy at the height of its might. That's the closest thing I can to equal. Equivalent to the Protoss in StarCraft. Another major thing, could the Protoss fall to chaos? That's another thing that... The thing is that the Protoss, much like the Imperium, are super religious. They believe in, dying for their homeworld, dying for their people. But they have, showcased that they are, they can, kind of slip. Not so much. They do have their own, personal gains and whatnot, but they're more than willing to, they're just more than willing to be a little more autonomy. There's the word I was looking for. They have a lot more autonomy, and we have seen that some Protoss are out for themselves. So it could be possible that a Protoss could fall to chaos. I'm not saying it's definite, but it is a possibility you need to explore. The Tyranids would have the Tyranids and the Protoss. That would be a war I would love to see. Because the Tyranids are like the Zerg, so it's like, oh, we know how to fight these guys already. But the thing is, Tyranids aren't like the Zerg. They can consume biomass. Well, the Zerg can do that too. So now the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, they would probably use a lot of the tactics they use to combat the Zerg to combat, you know, the Protoss. I mean, the Protoss would use that to how they combat the Zerg. They'd use that to combat the Tyranids. Orcs would be interesting to see how they would react to that. Now, could there be any alliances between the Protoss? The Protoss, they like to stick to themselves, but they aren't opposed to, you know, in times of crisis, making a few deals with others. We have seen that Protoss and Terran have made alliances in the past to combat the Zerg or other renegade forces, but I don't see like them working with the Imperium. The Imperium aren't exactly reasonable. However, I do see that they could make an alliance in terms of like exchanging technology and strengthening both their weapons and their empires in tandem with the Tau. Although I don't know how the Tau would react to, you know, not being able to, like I imagine the Tau would be like, oh, but we'll call the shots, right? Like, we'll take point on any matters, and the Protoss are like, that's funny. No. Yeah. The Necrons would also be another, you know, force that because technology-wise, I forgot to mention them. I always forget that, but yeah, the Necrons would be another technological adversary for the Protoss to try to overcome. Protoss do have god-level killing weapons. They just don't like to use them because that's like from the era before, and it's really dangerous. Whereas the Necrons are like, hey, we got a map that if we click on something, it'll blow up. You want to see? So it'd be like that. So all in all, I think that the Protoss, the only thing that I could really see, while they are expansionist, the one thing that would be a problem is their supply lines are. It takes a while to get those supply lines going. So, and in the world of Warhammer 40K, you need to move fast, or someone's going to kill you. So that might be a flaw there. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you think it would be like if the Protoss existed in Warhammer 40K? I'm curious to see how many, I'm always curious to see what StarCraft fans will climb out of the darkness to, like, talk. But yeah, I've always loved StarCraft. I never get chances to talk about it. Anyway, so just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.